yamunatiravanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shri Radha Madhava ki jai, Ashta Sakit Shriman Mahaprabhu ki jai, Giri Govardhan ki jai, Nrsimhadev Bhagavan ki jai, Panchatattva ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Nashta Prayeshu Abhatreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevayam Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 2nd Canto, Chapter 7, Scheduled Incarnations, in verse 40. viṣṇor nu vīrya-gaṇanāṁ katamo arhatiha ya pārthivāni api kavir vimame rajāṁsi caskambha sva-rahasāskhalatā tri-pṛṣṭhaṁ yasmāt tri-sāmya-sadanād, uru-kampayānam, viṣṇor nu vīrya-gaṇanāṁ katamo arhatiha, ya pārthivāny kavir vimame rajāṁsi, caskambha sva-rahasāskhalatā tri-pṛṣṭhaṁ, yasmāt tri-sāmya-sadanād uru-kampayānam. viṣṇor nu vīrya-gaṇanāṁ katamo rhatīha, ya pārthivāny kavir vimame rajāṁsi, caskambha sva-rahasāskhalatā tri-pṛṣṭhaṁ, yasmāt tri-sāmya-sadanād uru-kampayānam. Okay, let's repeat. Vīrya-gaṇanāṁ katamo rhatīha, ya pārthivāny kavir vimame rajāṁsi, caskambha sva-rahasāskhalatā tri-pṛṣṭhaṁ, yasmāt tri-sāmya-sadanād uru-kampayānam. viṣṇor nu vīrya-gaṇanāṁ katamo rhatīha, ya pārthivāny kavir vimame rajāṁsi, caskambha sva-rahasāskhalatā tri-pṛṣṭhaṁ, yasmāt tri-sāmya-sadanād uru-kampayānam. viṣṇor nu vīrya-gaṇanāṁ katamo arhatiha, ya pārthivāny kavir vimame rajāṁsi, caskambha sva-rahasāskhalatā tri-pṛṣṭhaṁ, yasmāt tri-sāmya-sadanād uru-kampayānam. viṣṇor nu vīrya-gaṇanāṁ katamo rhatīha, ya pārthivāny kavir vimame rajāṁsi, caskambha sva-rahasāskhalatā tri-pṛṣṭhaṁ, yasmāt tri-sāmya-sadanād uru-kampayānam. Okay, that. viṣṇor nu vīrya-gaṇanāṁ katamo arhatiha, ya pārthivāny kavir vimame rajāṁsi, caskambha sva-rahasāskhalatā tri-pṛṣṭhaṁ, yasmāt tri-sāmya-sadanād uru-kampayānam. viṣṇor nu vīrya-gaṇanāṁ katamo rhatīha. Ya pārthivāni kavir vimame rajāṁsi. Caskambha sva-rahasāskhalatā tri-pṛṣṭhaṁ. Yasmāt tri-sāmya-sadanād Word for word, Viṣṇu, O Lord Viṣṇu, nu, but, vīrya, prowess, gaṇanām, in the matter of accounting, katamaḥ, who else, arhati, is able to do it, iha, in this world, ya, one who, pārthivāni, the atoms, api, also, kaviḥ, great scientist, vimame, might have counted, rajāṁsi, particles, caskambha, could catch, ya, one who, sva-rahasā, by his own leg, askhalatā, without being hampered, tri-pṛṣṭhaṁ, the topmost planetary space, yasmāt, by which, tri-sāmya, the neutral state of the three modes, sadanād, up to that place, uru-kampayānam, moving very greatly. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Who can describe completely the prowess of Viṣṇu? Even the scientist who might have counted the particles of the atoms of the universe cannot do so, because it is he only who, in his form of Trivikrama, moved his leg effortlessly beyond the topmost planet, Satyaloka, up to the neutral state of the three modes of material nature. And all were moved. Purport. The highest scientific advancement of the material scientists is atomic energy, but the material scientist is not able to have an estimation of the particles of atoms contained in the whole universe. But even if one is able to count such atomic particles, or is able to roll up the sky like one's bedding, even then one is unable to estimate the extent of the prowess and energy of the Supreme Lord. He is known as Trivikrama because once in his incarnation of Vamana, he expanded his leg beyond the highest planetary system, Satyaloka, and reached the neutral state of the modes of nature called the covering of the material world. There are 7 layers of material coverings over the material sky, and the Lord could penetrate even those coverings. With his toe, he made a hole through which the water of the causal ocean filters into the material sky, and the current is known as the sacred Ganges, which purifies the planets of the 3 worlds. In other words, no one is equal to the transcendentally powerful Viṣṇu. He is omnipotent, and no one is equal to or greater than him. Om Jnana-timirandasya Gyananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri-gurave Namaha Mukam karoti vachalam pangum vangayate girim yat kripatamaham bande Shri-gurum dhinataranam Shri-chaitanya-manobhishtam sthapitam yena bhutale svayam rupa kadamayam dadati svapadantikam Namo Viṣṇu-padaya Krishna-pṛṣṭhaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhaktivedanta Svaminiti Namine Namaste Sarasvate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavati Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvishe Namaha Panchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindubhya eva cha patitanya pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. He Krishna karuna sindhu dina bandhu jagatpate gopesha gopika kanta radha kanta namostute tapta kanchana gorangi radhe vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriyam Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. I'll read the verse one more time. Who can describe completely the prowess of Viṣṇu? Even the scientist who might have counted the particles of the atoms of the universe cannot do so, because it is he only who, in his form of Trivikrama, moved his leg effortlessly beyond the topmost planet, Satyaloka, up to the neutral state of the three modes of material nature, and all were moved. I noticed that life sometimes is ironic, and we see in this story of Lord Vamanadev how Bali Maharaj, he conquered all the three worlds, and he was ruling them, and he felt some sympathy for the sweet dwarf boy Vamanadev, and he wanted to give him some charity. And Vamanadev asked for 3 steps of land, and this seemed like, well, that's not very much because you are already so small, so you can ask for something more than just 3 steps. I can give you planets. This is what was Bali Maharaj thinking. But Vamanadev was happy that, no, I'm modest, I only want 3 steps. And then Bali Maharaj granted him, yes, I will give you your 3 steps. And then the Lord expanded, and with just 2 steps covered the whole universe. And then he blamed Maharaj. What is this? You cannot give me 3 steps. I already took 2 steps, and I cannot. There's no place for me to put the 3rd step. Then Bali Maharaj, he knew this was going to happen, and he was therefore happy. And he said, "Yes, I know that I don't have any more land to give you, so please put your 3rd step on my head and accept my surrender as property." And so the situation completely flipped in his life. And similarly, like when British came to India and they colonized it, and they found out that people here, they have their religion, they follow their scripture, and when they wanted to know what does the scriptures say. They found out these fantastic descriptions of how universe was created, how long time periods the universe lasts, and how eventually it gets destroyed and then it's created again. And this was not according to their idea how the universe looks like. And they were looking down on these stories. They said, well, this is mythology, and we need to. You are kind of backwards people, and we need to give you our proper civilization. And we will open. Don't worry, we will open so many of our schools, and then we will teach you what is the proper understanding of what is universe and how it looks like. And the irony is that after all these years and British people went away, and now we have Westerners coming to India to learn from these scriptures, from the Vedas, how the universe looks like. And they completely, that's us actually, I'm one of them, completely reject whatever the Western cosmology has to offer. And we accept, yes, this is how Vedas describe, this is how it is. And the other version, however it is, must not be correct, because you cannot have two correct versions of how universe is created and how it looks like. And what is interesting, especially here in Mayapur, that we are building this temple of Vedic planetarium, and we know this is the title given by Srila Prabhupada. Otherwise, I don't think we would give such a title. Mostly ISKCON temples, they are named after some holy place like Ramanreti, and then the building is called usually after the main deities like Krishna Balaram or Radha Parthasarathi or Rukmini Dvarakadish. So this is how usually temples are named. And here in Mayapur we have Chandrodaya Mandir, which is this temple, and the new temple is TOVP, Temple of Vedic Planetarium. Very mysterious title. And what does it mean? What is Vedic Planetarium? So I heard explanation that this temple is supposed to challenge Western scientific model of how universe looks like. And we are supposed to present how the Vedic version of how the universe looks like. And we will not have any reserve. We will proudly present this. We will not say, well, we feel bad that we believe all these things which are not according to what the scientific model is, but we cannot neglect it, and here it is. This is what we believe universe looks like. No, the idea is to present it boldly and to challenge. That's my understanding. I don't know if this has changed or it might change, but I know that there are 3 wings, and then the globe will cover the space for the deities, and then there is, how is it called? There is northern wing, and no, there is eastern wing and western wing, and then eastern wing is Nrsimhadev temple, and then western wing is going to have presentation of exhibition of the Vedic model of the universe. I was this year at ILS, maybe some of you were there, Rameshwar Prabhu, Trutakarma Prabhus, they were presenting this, how these exhibits will look like. And they were explaining how everything from not only Bhagavatam, but Lalitamrita, everything will be there, all the different layers, all the different places and spaces. Everything will be presented and people will be able to walk through these exhibits as if they are going through, as if they are traveling through the universe, something like Gopakumar, he was traveling. So we will also be able to go from earth back to spiritual world in this exhibition. So I wanted for this topic to make a short two-sided presentation, like a comparison. What do we say? What do they say? Just like in the world of science, things get compared. So I want to make this comparison. And then we can maybe for a moment think like neutral and then ask ourselves which model of the universe sounds more convincing. Just like as if we have already not decided. So the Vedic version says that Mahavishnu lies in the causal ocean, Karana ocean, and he breeds universes which come out of his pores. He breathes in, no, he breathes out, universes go out of his body, and then he breathes in, universes go back into his body. So then each universe is shaped like an egg. This is usually described as the shape of the universe. And then he enters as Garbhodakashayi Viṣṇu inside each universe. And he fills it half with water because of his sweating. We know now it's the hottest time of year in India, so we are aware how much sweat can come out of the body. So then this half of this egg gets filled with water, and then from the navel of Viṣṇu, who lies on the bed of Ananta Shesha at the bottom of the universe, comes lotus flower, and from this lotus flower, Lord Brahma is born. And he does tapasya, he receives instructions, and then he's the one who creates the rest of the universe, the 14 planetary systems, planets, sun, moon, earth, and also hellish planets. And just as it is mentioned in this purport, the universe is covered in these 7 layers which are made of different elements, and each element is 10 times more thicker than the previous one. It starts with earth, water, fire, air, ether, and there is also... Okay, yes. So those are the material coverings of the universe, and then each body in the universe is also made of all these elements. So this is about the shape, and what about the time periods? So I found the easiest way to remember all the different time periods described in the Vedas is by remembering these 2 numbers, that Kali Yuga lasts 432,000 years, and then times 2 is Dvapara Yuga, 864,000, times 3 is Treta Yuga, 1,296,000, and Kali Yuga times 3 is Satya Yuga, 1,728. And if we add all this together, we get 4.32 billion years, which is a day of Brahma. This is one Brahma's day, and equal amount of time is Brahma's night. Then Brahma lives 100 years, and These years are counted just like we count our years. Each year has 12 months, and each month has 30 days. Somehow his year has 360 days. No, what am I saying? Yes, not like ours, 365, but 360. And each day of Brahma, each kalpa is divided into 14 manvantara periods. Each period is ruled by a different manvantar. And one manvantar rules over 71 yuga cycles. This means that one yuga cycle is all these different Kali, Dvapara, Treta, Satya Yuga are added together. So then we have that after the end of the 14th Manu, in a day of Brahma, there is a partial devastation of the universe when everything gets flooded. And during the night of Brahma, all the living entities, they enter into body of Brahma, something like this. Yes, and then they wait for the next day of Brahma to take their bodies again. So this is what we say. And when we add all these numbers together, then we come to this number, 311 trillion and then 40 billion years. And this is, we say, is the number of how long Lord Brahma lives. It's a big number. And where are we in all these divisions? We are now currently in the 51st year of Brahma, in a first day. This is known as second pararda or dvitya-pararda. So Brahma lived half of his life, and now the second part of his life starts, and we are in the first day of this start of his second part of his life. So which manvantara? We are in the 7th manvantara, which is ruled by Vaivasvata or Shraddha Deva manvantara. And already 27 Mahayugas passed, and we are now in the Kali Yuga of the 28th Mahayuga, within this 7th manvantara of the first day of 51st year of Brahma. It is Kali Yuga, which started usually, there are many versions, usually I found this day, 3102 BC started Kali Yuga, and the date is 9th of 6th, 2023. This is our date for today. So, like this. This is what we say universe looks like and how time is divided. And then the other part, as I said, I will compare with what do these scientists say. So this verse mentions how the scientists, they measure things. So their version of how universe looks like is based on measurements. They have instruments, they measure things, and then they can come up with these, well, we can say also stories, models. Yeah, they would say it's a model. Although they say it's a model, although this is accepted as scientific truth and it is learned in school. So, because once some model gets accepted, then it becomes like, okay, we agree that this is how it is, and we just follow this explanation. So they say that the universe is old about 13.7 billion years. So this is, if we compare it to the Vedic model, this is a little bit more than day and night of Brahma only. Then they say give and take 200 million years, because it's not really possible to measure exactly. Okay, so how they came up with this number? What were they measuring? So you will find that they came up with this number by using the W-map value of HO, this is hydrogen, I guess, and this was 71 plus minus 4 per kilometer per second per megaparsec. Okay, so by this time you're supposed to say, oh wow, this is so scientific, and they obviously know what they're doing, and we cannot maybe understand, but these must be some smart people, and we can never even begin to comprehend all this big science. And what is this vmap? Again, these are models. They are looking for the oldest stars, and they are measuring the rate of expansion of the universe, and then extrapolating back to the Big Bang. So their idea is that there was one particle, probably a hydrogen particle, and then this particle exploded, and this is how the universe started. Now, what is funny is somehow this theory was suggested at the same time when they were doing research on atomic bombs. So it's funny coincidence how they say the same thing practically, that there was just one atom, and then it is exploded, and then everything came, and everything else came from this one particle. So sometime also in the beginning of the 20th century, they discovered that the universe is expanding, actually, that it's not just created and then it stands still, that the galaxies are moving apart, and there is a rate of how fast it is moving. So this is how they calculated this number. They just went back, they calculated, okay, so because it started expanding from that moment the Big Bang exploded, so we just calculate the distance of the speed of these galaxies moving apart from one another, and it's called a Hubble constant. He was a scientist who came up with this discovery. He says there is some rate of speed of the movement, and then there is also the distance. So this megaparsec is actually measuring the distance, this distance of galaxies from one another, or from the center of the galaxy. So center of galaxy is usually a black hole, which is attracting all these other objects around, and because of the gravity, and that is what makes the galaxies rotate also. And let me just then compare also with the Earth, how they explain how Earth was formed. So what they say is, how old is Earth? They come up with this number, 4.54 billion years. They find some old material, old geological layers on Earth, and then they measure radiometric dating. So they say the oldest rocks on Earth are this number, 4.54 billion years. And how was it formed? So the gravity pulled swirling gas and dust in to become for this shape to become the third planet away from the sun. It had a central core, a rocky mantle, and a solid crust. This was in the beginning. And then how from this rock came first life? So they say the microbes were the first life organisms on Earth, and they can be dated to 3.7 billion years because they left some carbon signals, carbon molecules from rocks as fossils, and this carbon can be dated also. But these molecules can be dated by radiometric dating, so they say. So these are the first, we are speaking now about the first microbes, 3.7 billion years. And this is interesting, I found. So from the first microbes, we get to humans who only live on Earth for the past 300,000 years. Even then, they did not really look like humans. They were more like, I think they call them humanoid apes. And then only about 100,000 years ago do we speak of modern humans which look actually like us. So this is interesting that if we measure this time frame of how old the universe is, this is, if you compare this with the time of on Earth of humans, this is 99.998%, which means that we occupied the universe as human beings only 0.002% of the time that the universe exists. And of course, the rest of the universe is just empty matter and rocks and these stars and no living entities anywhere on Earth. It's just us here and only for a short period of time. So also what I found interesting is how they have explanation how, okay, so this gravity pulled this dust and particles and formed the crust. And then how the water came from on planet. So the explanation is that there was interaction between the hydrogen-rich atmospheres and magma oceans of the planetary embryos. And from this interaction, you know how molecules, they combine together, and then you get the water. And now most of the planet is filled with salty water in the form of oceans and seas. And then, of course, somewhere in between this 3.7 billion and 300,000 years, all the evolution happened. All the microbes, they evolved into amoeba and fishes decided to come out of water, and then they adopted to different environments, and then different species came about, and they kept, as environment changed, they kept like experimenting with the different activities, and then birds evolved, and reptiles, and all the other different species. And then eventually, as a pinnacle of evolution, we have the human being. like I said, which is also only recent. And then I also liked this, how a recent discovery says that actually they found out that this expansion of the universe, which they thought is at a steady rate, they found out it's not at a steady rate, it's actually accelerating. And why is it accelerating? This is because of some unexplained phenomenon which is known as dark energy. And okay, I will stop here with this, all this presentation of the Western model of the universe, to conclude that, like, seriously, this model, I don't think it's just because we are religious people and we are believing in Vedas. So we have some realization, so we accept that even though fantastic, the explanations of the Vedas are truth, are appropriate and correct. But I think that even those people who consider themselves atheists, I think by now most of them are really skeptical about this model. It's first of all very pessimistic, very gloomy. It seems like there is threat in every moment that life on Earth will be extinguished because it existed for such a short time, and the universe is full of unknown, dangerous laws and forces, and we are so small and insignificant that we can be just wiped out at any second. And it seems that this is the attitude of all these different models. And then first of all there is this gloom, and then the second part is, I would say, that there is no solution, there is no message that we can do this and then we will be able to prosper or live forever. It seems that the message of this model is just let us all enjoy before we are wiped out by some comet, or before some catastrophe happens, and which probably will happen because this is the rule of the nature, rule of the universe, and we are just as helpless, small, insignificant beings. So there is no actually any message there. There is no any hope, and there is no any message, and we can conclude that all this measuring, what are they measuring? This, I would ask, what is it they are actually measuring? Because down here on Earth, we see that there should be something from all this endeavor and from all these measurements which would make life better for people. Isn't this what science is all about? That you make discoveries and then you make life better for people. And then conclusion is that these discoveries, they don't actually make our lives better. No, not at all. They just make our lives, I mean, if we would accept them, they would just make our lives depressing. And of course, in one sense, we can say like this, and also we cannot say like this, because we need support from institutions. So there is some need for diplomacy. I'm informed that this is the skill I lack, that I should learn how to be more diplomatic. And okay, I accept. I agree that if we just present, if we just say that this is nonsense, and we have the correct version of how universe looks like and how old it is, that we would seem arrogant to most people. I can agree that some diplomacy and some kind of measure should be there in presenting our version. However, I would like to point that most of the people today, they would be very happy to accept the Vedic version. I don't think they would laugh at it like the Britishers were laughing at it 200 years ago when they came to India, when they said, these explanations are just ridiculous. I don't think people today would laugh at these explanations in the same way, because the world changed, and the world changed in a way that we as followers of Lord Chaitanya and of Vedic Shastras, we have better opportunity to present this philosophy to people than such opportunity was 200 years ago. So we can see actually that the environment flipped on our side in the world today, and that we don't need to keep these explanations from Vedas as kind of being ashamed of them, and that is why it seems that Temple of Vedic Planetarium is coming out just at the right time, when people are ready for these explanations about the universe. Okay, I think I said what I intended, and if there are any comments or questions, corrections, I can ask. Yes.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, thank you so much for your class. And we know that there are three ways that we can understand absolute truth: pratyaksha, anumana, and shabda. And usually scientists, they use pratyaksha and anumana. So when they hear all this explanation about Mahavishnu, Lord Brahma, lotus flower, they just say, where is it? Why we cannot see this? Mm-hmm. We can see moon, we can see stars, we can see sun, but we can see so many things just now because of this science. But why we cannot see all of these things that described in Vedic literature? So what we can say to them?
Okay, well, I would say that it seems that their argument is that because they invented machines and computers and airplanes, and we have so much technology, and obviously there is these machines were the product of scientific advancement. So their assumption is, because they can produce all these products, that similarly by sending by using telescopes and sending these space vessels in the space outside of atmosphere of Earth, that they can measure things, and then they can answer questions about creation of the universe and about our position in the universe. But we just conclude that this is their assumption, and that this assumption is wrong, that just because you can produce an airplane and computer. That does not mean that by measuring things you can explain how was universe created and how life came to be in the universe. So this is just what we say, that by using all these measurements, that it's just not possible. Anyway, this we are not doing this. We are not supposed to measure anything. We just take from Vedas how it's explained. We are not competing with them in that sense. Okay, it's 9 o'clock. I have alarm. Wow. How does it? Huh? This is so scary. Time's up. Hare Krishna, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.